Sarah Stock from Rebel News. Today we are speaking with Drew Outstanding. He has a very, very important story to share. Drew was working for the U.S. military, and he was forced to take the mRNA COVID shot in order to keep his job, but this shot ended up leaving him partially paralyzed with Guillain-Barré syndrome in a lot of pain. And he's here to share his story and let people know that although some may be moving on from COVID and these restrictions, others are having to deal with the aftermath of the COVID vaccine for the rest of their lives. Here's Drew.
Yeah, where do I start? The kind of months and the years are just kind of flying by. It doesn't seem like a lot is changing right now. But started in 2021, I was in the Minnesota National Guard, the Army Guard. I was also working full time at what I thought was a private company. Turned out to be a federal contractor under the mandate laws or whatever at the time, forcing employees to get it, the vaccine. Very large corporation, but they sold to the government. So that made them a contractor under some people's eyes. And then I was also going to school for my MBA as well, trying to start a business and just what I thought was on top of my game, but then everything came crashing down, mandated to get this, immediately turned into flu-like symptoms. I got it from the VA as well. And flu-like symptoms turned into numbness, tingling in my hands, my feet. A day later, I can't pick anything up, a remote control, a bottle of water. I had an infant son, or I have a son. He was an infant at the time, and I was having trouble holding him. And they said, you'd feel a little bit off right after you get the vaccine, but nothing like this at all. And so I kind of chalked it up to just stress, everything that's going on, the pandemic, everything's kind of going crazy. But then I woke up the next morning, I couldn't move anything. I couldn't get out of bed. I could barely move my hands and my feet. That's about it. But my trunk, my legs, all paralyzed. And so I go to the emergency room. They run all these tests. Nothing comes back positive, but they've seen the symptoms before. They know it's Guillain-Barré syndrome, but they had to do a spinal tap in order to get their evidence or their results. And that's what happened. And then it turned into a nightmare.
What kind of feedback have you received from this? Have people been believing you? I mean, I know sometimes I see people sharing their stories of these vaccine injuries, and then people say, oh, it's an anomaly, or that wasn't because of the vaccine. What do you respond to those people?
Yeah, I live in Minnesota, so very blue, very just kind of go on to get along, and a lot of people have just moved on. So people have treated and been there for me for my injury, but a lot won't make the connection to what happened days, weeks before. And the mandates, everyone seems like they want to just move on, or they can't talk about it, or they have an impact, something of that case. But doctors, medical professionals have been treating me, but not looking at it holistically, or the cause and effect. Or like in the military, we look at how did this start? What went well? What didn't go well? What could we have done differently? Where did this come from? There hasn't been any investigation at all. So I feel like I'm alone on an island. Every once in a while, I can get to somebody where I can just talk freely with. I have gone to conferences and done some speaking engagements, and once in a while find people I can talk with. Corey Mills, Representative Florida, has been great. I talked to Matt Gaetz a couple times, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's people. I met with them in DC. They took down all my information, my story. I think used it as part of their purpose to get Fauci subpoenaed and the hearing and everything like that. So I'd like to think that part of my story helped with that.
And have you been able to find any justice for what happened? I know that these vaccine manufacturers aren't able to be held liable, but have you been able to take any legal action against maybe the military for forcing you to take this vaccine to keep your job?
No, I haven't seen anything substantial at all. And I do that in between recovery and the pain and the restless nights, the nerve pain. I have neuropathy, meaning I'm like always being electrocuted. I just imagine exposed nerves like a cord without the rubbering. So the heat is crazy on me. And I hate talking about my illnesses. I just want to get on with my life and, just get back to being who I was. And, but no one has really, I haven't seen anything substantial. There's been some recent things in the news. Hopefully, some friends of mine that are also military vaccine injured, they're speaking out and making waves. So that's been good to hear. I don't know what it will take, because it doesn't seem like our leaders, there's no adults in the room, or their hands are tied, or they can't talk about it, or it will lead to something else. I just hear a lot of excuses and not actual substantial results.
And how common do you think this is? I know I hear stories of this all the time, but it seems like the mainstream media is constantly trying to downplay vaccine injuries and say that it just doesn't happen. How many people have you even met yourself who have experienced similar things?
Numerous. I meet them online all the time. I hold X Spaces on Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, and there's so many out there. Then think of every state, the whole country, and people around the world that experienced adverse side effects after getting this. They speak on themselves, or many have lost children due to this and are seeking answers and not getting a lot in return.
This story is just one of many that proves that these mRNA COVID shots are neither effective or safe. If you would like to get these shots off the market, please head over, sign our petition at nomoreshots.ca to demand that Canada's health minister take these shots off the market immediately.